Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Verified Gains. If you guys never been here before, usually we like to talk about Bitcoin, Solana, a little bit of meme coins for this current bull cycle. Anyways, hope everybody had a pretty good week. Happy Friday. Today's date is January 24th, 2025. So let's dive right into the charts for Solana. Today, I'm going to mainly focus on Solana, and I might look at Bitcoin later and maybe Popcat, but for now, let's focus on Solana. So last time we were sort of over here talking about what we were going to do in terms of dollar cost averaging. And I said, okay, well, we have this horizontal resistance line at the $256 mark. So I would ideally want to see some consolidation above, some confirmation above the $256 mark in order to have a better dollar cost averaging price point. Because if we're not able to do that, like what we're seeing over here, then there's a good possibility that we might retest the $220 mark. Um, so initially here, it looked like, things were looking pretty good. And then the next day, instead, we had this red candlestick. And even up until, today and last night, it looked like maybe we were going to actually close above the $256 mark, but we actually ended up closing below that. And with this new candlestick that has started to form, it looks like we're heading down. So if this continues on, then you know the MACD line may try to touch the signal or cross over perhaps one more time. And if that is the case, then we may see a retracement back to the $220 price to end the month of January. So that's what we're seeing so far. Um, so I'm just clicking on this to see if there's any updates. This is through tradingview.com. Okay, so yeah, it looks like, well, let's see if this is true or not, but the New York Stock Exchange has submitted an application for a grayscale Solana trust, which includes provisions for the possible conversion of the trust into a spot ETF. So that is actually very big news if that is true. And, a lot of people were speculating this anyways. Of course, after the spot ETF for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I definitely would not be surprised if we see the same thing happen for Solana. Um, okay, so what is this? Solana price prediction. Okay, all right. Like I've said in my previous video, price prediction is not important. We're just going to pay attention to technical analysis and see where we end up at the end of the bull cycle around September to October of this year. If we go all the way up to 1300, that would be the most ideal case, but we'll see if that comes to fruition. For now, we're just paying attention to the daily trends, and we're trying to position ourselves in the best way possible through dollar cost averaging. And hopefully we'll be able to see some good profit by the end of this bull cycle. Okay, so before I was distracted by the latest updates, so as you guys know, I try to, put in, 30% of my paycheck every other Friday into Solana. Today is the day, of course, but um, given these technicals, I was going to put it in if we actually closed this candle above 256 and, regardless of what candle, was formed over here, if we had closed above 256, I was going to dollar cost average in. Now that we're consolidating or, rather forming a new candle below the $256 mark, I'm going to actually wait and see how this pans out over the weekend. And at the earliest, probably make my move, either tomorrow or Monday. But, for that to actually happen, then, by tomorrow, 7 p.m., I would want this candle to change into a green candle, close above 256, and then a new candle form tomorrow night over here. Okay, so, excuse me, today's Friday, so either tomorrow or Sunday. Okay, let's move on to Bitcoin. That's the shorts. Okay, so Bitcoin over here. Um, So before, we're talking about this new yellow trend line that we drew, which of course the slope is slightly less positive than the one that we had, been following previously. And over here, we had retested it. It looked like, there's a possible breakthrough to the upside, but never happened. We got rejected. And we've tried to retest it a couple more times, but I'm not sure if it's holding, so this one's sort of in a gray area as well. If we do fall from here, I mean, it's a little bit iffy. I mean, we don't really have a true resistance. I mean, we can argue that maybe it'll go down to like 101,000-ish, but it's also possible that it may drop all the way down to 92,000, which, I mean, there's really no sort of event that would otherwise make it drop to 92,000. If anything, everybody's very pro crypto right now, whether you look at it macroeconomically or just the sentiment in general in the crypto community. But it's always possible because the bigger institutions might be interested in um, buying additional Bitcoin at lower prices. So they might try to drive the market down. Always a possibility. As retail investors, all we're trying to do is position ourselves to the best of our abilities, but we don't really have to stress out about hitting the exact top or the exact low to dollar cost average, whether that's dollar cost averaging in or dollar cost averaging out when we're ready to sell our investments. Okay. Um, Popcat. I kind of want to talk about Popcat because, as you guys know, this is my favorite meme coin. But if you guys have been paying attention, it's not doing too well. And some may argue that that is the case for all meme coins right now, which to a certain degree I do agree. It is it is quite a drop. I mean, it's not easy to stomach, even if you've been in the crypto space for a long time. Um, I mean, we're talking about a drop of 77% from the previous all-time high. And while this is not unheard of for the average investor, if you have a significant amount of your portfolio allocated in such an asset, then a 77% losses, I mean, that is very significant. But I remain patient. I haven't sold any of my Popcat, and it is below this white dotted line that I had drawn before, which I consider to be a good support line. And I tried to really hold above it, but it looks like Now it's really breaking down below it. So let's just see how much it bleeds over the weekend. But there's really nothing we can do at this point. All we can hope for is, you know, either the old investors or new money comes in as they take profit from mostly Solana. Okay, so some people may be interested in now converting their Solana profits and swapping them into smaller market cap assets, such as meme coins. Okay, really quickly talk about Turbo as well. Yeah, not a whole lot going on over here. And then finally, Dog with Hat. Yeah, absolutely decimated. Okay. Um, I mean, we haven't broken all-time low for you know, at least like the previous all-time low, if you will, which was around $1.06. But you know, honestly, there's no guarantee, and I don't really know when this will bounce back. It seems like it's possible that a lot of people are just being liquidated. You know, if you're leverage trading, I mean, I mean, I'm assuming the majority of people who are leverage trading these meme coins right now, I mean, there's almost little to no chance that they're surviving this onslaught over here. I mean, I just cannot imagine not getting margin called when the asset is dropping 77% for Popcat and 66% for Dog with Hat. But of course, that is the risk that we're taking. You know, the hope is that, you know, hopefully we'll go back up from here. I'm actually going to try to see like a past example. Um, let's just take Dogecoin, for example. So let's say I'm looking at Dogecoin. So we must go back to the last cycle. I'm trying to see. So in these cases, yeah, you have some pretty significant drops along the way. And I'm just trying to see if it was, you know, pretty similar for these um, meme coins that did pretty well last year. Yeah, I mean, you know, around 50% drops, but I guess this is one example. This is back in 2021, 64% drop before going back up. So it's never easy. It was never an easy game to begin with. But of course, it's always hard to stomach when you actually experience it in person. The idea is that, you know, despite through all this sideways movement, eventually it will explode up. Um, but there really is no guarantee that that'll happen. So that is the risk that you have to be willing to take. I mean, you know, it looks like for Dogecoin, you know, for each mini cycle, the amount of retracement increased time and time again, but you know, not as bad as 77%. So we do definitely need to keep a close eye on this. Um, I'm hopeful for a bounce back, but right now things are not looking too hot. Okay, so I think that's about it for today. And if there's any significant update over the weekend, then I'll make another video and I'll see you guys then. All right, bye bye.